If the VA loan is zero down, why do so many veterans still need cash at closing? That is one of the biggest misunderstandings in VA lending. I'm Cathy Sabater, mortgage strategist and proud veteran. In this video, I'm breaking down what veterans actually pay for a VA loan, what the VA funding fee really is, who may be exempt, and how smart negotiation can reduce what you bring to closing. Let's start with the biggest misconception. Zero down does not mean zero cost. And that means with a VA loan, the down payment is often zero. That is one of the biggest advantages of the program. But your down payment and your closing costs are not the same thing. A down payment goes towards the purchase price. Closing costs are the fees tied to the transaction itself. Things like lender fees, appraisal, title, escrow, taxes, insurance, and prepaid items. That is why a zero down VA loan can still show money need at closing. A veteran may see a loan estimate showing cash to close and assume that the VA is charging all of it. Usually, that is not what is happening. Most of those numbers come from the standard third-party transaction costs that can show up in almost every home purchase. In general, those costs fall into three main categories: loan and appraisal costs, title and escrow costs, and prepays, which often include homeowners insurance, property taxes, and escrow setup. So yes, the VA loan can be zero down, but that does not automatically mean zero cash to close. Now let's talk about the second major question, the VA funding fee. The VA loan program is designed to be self-sustaining, so many veterans pay a one-time funding fee. Now, VA loans are known for zero down, and that is still one of the biggest benefits. But some veterans choose to put money down anyway because the funding fee gets smaller at 5% down and again at 10% down. Here's the simple version. With less than 5% down, the fee is usually 2.15% the first time and 3.3% for repeat use. At 5% down, it drops to 1.5%. At 10% down, it drops again to 1.25%. Here's the part many veterans do not realize. In most cases, the VA funding fee does not have to be paid in cash at closing. It can usually be financed into the loan amount. That means the funding fee does not always create a large out-of-pocket expense at closing. Some veterans are also exempt from the funding fee entirely, including veterans receiving VA disability compensation, some Purple Heart recipients on active duty, and some eligible surviving spouses. That is why exemption status should be clarified early in the process. Now, let's talk strategy. If a veteran wants to reduce cash to close, negotiation matters. The VA allows sellers to help cover some or all of the veteran's closing costs. There are limits on certain seller paid costs, often called seller concessions. But a well-structured contract can still significantly reduce what a veteran brings out of pocket. That is why the smartest question is often, how much cash do I need? It is, how can the offer be structured to reduce it? Even in a strong VA deal, veterans should still expect a few upfront costs. Depending on the contract and the market, that may include an earnest money deposit and a private home inspection. That inspection matters because the VA appraisal is not the same thing as a private home inspection. The bottom line is simple. Zero down is real, but zero down and zero cash to close are not the same thing. Once you understand how the money works, including closing costs, the funding fee, possible exemptions, seller paid costs, and upfront expenses, the numbers make a lot more sense. I'm Cathy Sabater, and in the next video, we're going to break down the next question: VA loan versus conventional, the real cost comparison.